Members of Fort Drum's 10th Mountain Division were honored today at the state capitol at the first ever 10th Mountain Division in Fort Drum Day. The division also saluted New Yorkers with a Black Hawk helicopter flyby of the Capitol and an exhibition of the post's military hardware and personnel, arranged by Senator Ritchie and staffed by nearly 60 Fort Drum soldiers. As part of the day's events, a special color guard of the 10th Mountain Division troops presented the flag and led the pledge to open the Senate's daily public session. The Senate recognized members of the 10th Mountain Division, represented by 15 troops from New York, who were on the floor of the Senate for the ceremonies with an official resolution. Major General Mark A. Milley visited the Capitol for the first time ever to attend the event and addressed the Senate chamber.
Senator Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm honored to welcome today the Commanding General and his representatives, the 10th Mountain Division, that are based out of Fort Drum. Commanding General Mark Milley and these fine men and women come to educate us today on Fort Drum. It's certainly fitting since this is Military Appreciation Month and Memorial Day is right around the corner, when all Americans remember the service and sacrifice of all these brave men and women. They, along with West Point representatives that were here, represent the highest ideals of honor, service, and duty to their country. I hope my colleagues will take time to stop by the displays and to talk to some of the men and women who are here today to hear about their stories and share our encouragement and support for all they do to defend our fine country and help keep us safe. Proud to honor these men and women, certainly proud to represent them in the 48th District, and I appreciate you coming down today so that all my colleagues can have firsthand knowledge of what wonderful men and women you truly are. So thank you for coming, and I'd also like to acknowledge the Fort Drum Regional Liaison Organization is here. We have a Gold Star mother here with us here today, and Senator Wright made the trip down because he previously represented the 48th and is still involved with Fort Drum. So thank you all. Commanding General Milley, it's truly a great honor to have met you and to work with you to help make sure that Fort Drum is successful and continues to be all that it is. Thank you.
Senator Skelos.
Much, Mr. President. I'd like to join Senator Ritchie in welcoming you, and in particular General Milley, as well as the other members who are here from Fort Drum. General Milley has an outstanding military record, 31 years of service, including working in the Pentagon and tours of Iraq and Afghanistan. His record of exemplary leadership has resulted in his command of the largest military installation in the Northeast. We are truly honored by your presence in our historic chamber, and I thank all of you for your cooperation in putting together the display of military equipment in the LOB and in Capitol Park. Fort Drum is home to the famous 10th Mountain Division. Sometimes it feels like we have to move mountains to get things done here in Albany, but it pales in comparison to the tremendous work and selfless service that you give to our country. Seven soldiers from Fort Drum have been awarded the Medal of Honor. This truly exemplifies the tremendous courage and bravery of all who serve to protect our freedoms every day. So again, we welcome you. And now, with unanimous consent of the Senate, I'd like to ask the General if he would address the Senate chamber at this time.
Without objection, Major General Milley.
Well, Mr. President and all the members of the Senate, thanks very much for honoring us, and thanks also to the Governor for signing off on 23 May being 10th Mountain Division Day in the great state of New York. And particular thanks to Senator Ritchie and her staff. I know she and several others were the driving force behind this recognition, and for all of us, all 40,000 soldiers and family members and Department of the Army civilians at Fort Drum, we are deeply in your debt for this recognition to us. Also to the veterans that are assembled here, you don't have to go to Fort Drum to see heroes and heroism. You can look around in your own chamber. And amongst you are veterans of the Philippines, the New Guinea campaign. Amongst you are veterans of multiple campaigns in the hill fights of Korea. Amongst you are the veterans of the jungle fights along the Cambodian and Vietnamese border. And amongst you are recent veterans of both Iraq and Afghanistan. Many of you have served in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and Marines in the last years since World War II. And you also have a great wealth of service. So we deeply appreciate your service and your support to us. And to those families and friends and supporters of the division, thank each and every one of you for your continued support. To my left are 15 soldiers, all natives of New York, all representative of the division. And amongst them, you'll see that you have 12 deployments in excess of 12 consecutive years of combat, 2 Purple Hearts, 2 awards for valor, multiple Bronze Stars. They represent the infantry, the cavalry, intelligence, artillery, logistics, and aviation. 3 of them are officers, 8 are sergeants, the very backbone of our Army, and 4 are junior soldiers. I welcome each of you to get to know your constituents that are in uniform and take a moment to shake their hands. In addition to these 15, we brought 58 down here that are in a variety of static displays outside to show you a little taste of what the division's about, and I welcome you also to shake their hands and get to know them a bit. A special welcome in the upper chamber to my right in the white dress is Mrs. Dawn Esposito. She's a very special member of our community. She's a Gold Star mother from Brentwood, New York. Her son, Sergeant Michael Esposito, was killed in action as part of the 10th Mountain Division, 2nd Battalion, 22nd Infantry in Afghanistan. And she represents over 295 Gold Star mothers from the 10th Mountain Division. And Dawn, thank you so much for being here to represent everyone. As many of you know, and embedded within the resolution, the 10th Mountain Division is in fact the most deployed division in the United States Army for the last 20 years or so, since 1985, since we were reactivated up at Fort Drum. We have in fact been the tip of the spear on anyone intending to do harm to the United States. The division, as mentioned, was originally conceived during World War II in order to fight in the mountains and the snows of Europe. And in fact, they did that. And in 1944, they deployed, and in January of 45, they entered the Northern Apennines in Italy and fought against the Nazi Gustav Line and brought the Nazis to their knees and caused the general collapse of the German frontline trace in northern Italy. And among those veterans were great athletes, many from New York, who fought in those fights. At the conclusion of the war, those veterans continued to pursue a variety of endeavors. And if you go to Vail, Colorado, Aspen, Sugar-Brush, if you go to Crystal Mountain, Whiteface Mountain, if you go to many of the ski resorts around the United States today, you will find that they were founded by 10th Mountain veterans. And in 1985, we were reactivated again because the nation saw a need to rapidly deploy with light infantry forces and have the potential for the President of the United States to put boots on the ground at any crisis point on the Earth's surface. So we reactivated the 10th Mountain Division as a light infantry division and trained it, and we decided to put it at Fort Drum. And if you look at the headlines from 1985 to today, you will see the Fort Drum emblem, the 10th Mountain Division patch, and soldiers from northern New York deployed, whether it's hurricanes or earthquakes, whether it's peacekeeping in the Sinai or peacemaking in the Balkans, whether it's an intervention into Haiti, or whether it's trying to help the humanitarian assistance and getting embroiled in a fight in Somalia, or whether it's Iraq or Afghanistan. To follow the 10th Mountain since 1985 is to visit every crisis spot that America has been involved in. In the last 11 years, the division has deployed 5 times as a division, and we've deployed 28 deployments amongst our brigades. We were the first conventional force to enter Afghanistan very shortly after the tragic events of 9/11. And that's appropriate that an American infantry division led the way against our enemies in Afghanistan. And it's doubly appropriate that a division from New York led the way, given that the enemies of our countries attacked this great state and murdered our fellow citizens. The soldiers of this division are extremely well trained, motivated, and well led by some of the most experienced junior leaders, captains and sergeants and majors that our nation has ever known since World War II. The 40,000 soldiers and families of the 10th Mountain appreciate everything that you have done, and we are eager to maintain that relationship. With the important work that you have to do here, we couldn't get you all up to drum, so we brought today some of drum to you. And I do hope that you'll get out there and see them. It's very important that you, the representatives of the people, maintain close contact to we, the People's Army. The United States Army, since 1775, has fought on behalf of the American people. And it's important that the American people and their elected representatives stay connected to our force. Mr. President, and to all the senators and ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for this great opportunity. We will be forever grateful that 23 May is 10th Mountain Day, and I ask that all of you keep in your thoughts and prayers the 1,000 10th Mountain soldiers that are still serving today in Afghanistan. Climb to glory.